This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Haxshadow. Today's video is going to be a really exciting one, and I think you're going to find it incredibly useful. If you watch until the end, you won't need to search for another tutorial on this topic. I'll walk you through everything, step by step. Over the past few months, I've made several videos showing you how to access different AI models for free. Today's tutorial follows the same idea, but with something even better. In this video, I'll show you two different accounts and methods that you can use to access AI models. We'll go through the setup process for each one, compare them, and explain how they work. So make sure you watch all the way to the end, because in the final part of the video, I'll share the approach I use to keep working with AI models for much longer without constantly running into. The first account we're going to set up is a Morph account. I'll sign in using my Gmail account, and once the login process is complete, you should see a screen similar to the one on mine. From there, the setup is very simple. In most cases, you can continue by pressing the Tab key on your keyboard to move through the setup prompts and complete the initial configuration. Just follow along with the steps shown on the screen, and you'll have your Morph account ready in no time.
As you can see, there are 3 AI models available that we can use. To continue, simply press the Tab key on your keyboard to move through the setup screens. When you reach the next step, you'll be presented with 2 options. Select No, I'm an individual. After that, choose the API option to continue. You may then see an enterprise screen. Don't worry about that. Just skip it and continue to your dashboard. Once you're on the dashboard, we'll move on to the next step and finish the remaining setup.
Once you reach the dashboard, there isn't much you need to configure. At this point, I'm simply exploring the interface and clicking through the different menus to see what features are available and how everything is organized. Since this is my first time using this platform as well, I'm learning and exploring it together with you. So I'm checking each option one by one to get familiar with the available tools and settings. Let's take a quick tour of the dashboard and see what it has to offer before moving on to the next step.
All right, I've figured out how the platform works and what needs to be configured. You can simply follow along and copy the same steps I'm using on my screen. For this tutorial, I'll be using the OpenCode editor to connect everything. You're welcome to use a different editor if you prefer, but I'll be demonstrating the setup with OpenCode because it's the one I'm using. The first step is to download and install OpenCode on your computer. Once the installation is complete, open the editor and we'll begin configuring it step by step. Just follow along with the same settings I use and you'll have everything up and running in no time.
Now it's time to connect everything. To do that, we'll need a few details from the platform, and I'm going to copy them one by one. If you watch this part carefully, you'll be able to follow the exact same process on your own computer. I'll enter a provider name, the base URL, the API key, and then add the AI models that I want to use. These are the essential settings needed to establish the connection. Although there are 3 models available on this platform, I'll be using 2 of them for this tutorial. We'll configure those models first and then test them to make sure everything is working correctly. Let's go through the setup step by step and connect everything properly.
All right, everything is connected now and the setup is complete. The next step is to make sure everything is working properly. The easiest way to do that is by sending a simple prompt and seeing how the model responds. I'm going to type a basic message and submit it. If the model replies successfully, that means our configuration is correct and the connection is working exactly as it should.
Let's run a quick test and see if everything's working. As you can see, everything is working perfectly. The model responded successfully, which confirms that our setup was completed correctly and the connection is working without any issues. It also understood the context of my prompt and responded accordingly, showing that it can follow instructions and generate relevant responses based on what I asked. So far, everything looks great, and the model is performing exactly as expected. Now, let's move on and test some more advanced tasks to see what else it can do. Now, let's move on to the second platform, Databricks. Through this platform, we'll be able to access and use the GLM model. The sign-up process is very similar to the previous one, so it should only take a few minutes. I'm going to sign up using my Google account, and once the registration is complete, we'll continue with the setup and connect the model step by step. Let's create the account and get everything ready. As you can see, I've successfully logged in and I'm now on the dashboard. On the left-hand side, you'll find an option called AI Gateway. Click on it and you'll be able to browse the AI models available on the platform. For this tutorial, I'll be using the GLM model. We'll select it from the list and then continue with the setup so we can start using it in our editor. Let's choose the model and move on to the next step. As you can see, once the model is selected, all of its configuration details are displayed on the screen. Just like before, we'll copy the base URL, the API key, and the model name. These are the required settings we'll use to connect the model. For this tutorial, I'll once again be using OpenCode as my editor. We'll enter each of these values into the appropriate fields and complete the configurations step by step. Watch this section carefully and follow the same settings on your own system. Once everything is configured correctly, we'll test the connection to make sure the model is working properly. As you can see, the setup is now complete and everything has been configured successfully. The only thing left to do is test the connection. We'll send a simple prompt to the model and check whether it responds correctly. If the model replies without any errors, we'll know that the API, model configuration, and editor setup are all working properly. Let's run a quick test and see if everything is working as expected. As you can see, everything is working perfectly. The model understands the kind of work I do and responds accordingly. Now, let's talk about the important part I mentioned at the beginning of the video. When I said you could use it for much longer, here's what I meant. If you reach the usage limit on one account, you can simply switch to another account and continue using it. You can repeat this process with up to 3 accounts, allowing you to keep using the service without waiting for the limit to reset. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to drop a comment telling me what kind of videos you want to see next.